Spektrum Metrics has expanded our industry-leading web spectrum viewer to provide quick insights into spectrum allocations, carrier spectrum ownership, and network capabilities for different countries. We're going to first explore what the Spektrum Grid can tell us about each country's spectrum allocations, jumping into the United States Spectrum Grid first. Detailing spectrum ownership down to a county level for the entire U.S., the Spectrum Grid provides you with visibility into who owns predominant blocks of spectrum, and you also have the ability to see the channelization, how each of the frequency bands are broken down. You're able to scroll from left to right, starting at 600 megahertz and going in our mobile carrier tool up to 4 gigahertz. You can also use filters at the top to select low band, and then within low band, you're able to select individual frequency bands. You can go to lower mid band to see the AWS and PCS bands, and we can go to upper mid band to show everything from the WCS 2.3 gigahertz spectrum all the way up to the C-band spectrum. You also have the ability to choose several different regional sorts. So for this, I'm just going to give you an example of looking for the spectrum ownership in the Los Angeles CMA market, and then the 4 counties that make up the Los Angeles CMA market are then displayed. Now we'll go ahead and jump to the Mexico tool. Similarly with Mexico, we're going to get a country level breakdown, but rather than being by counties, it's going to be by municipals. What you can immediately see upon opening is IFT is the regulatory body. You can see what spectrum they control. 600 megahertz has now been auctioned. Some of the other blocks of spectrum have been turned back in. And then we'll go ahead and just do a regional search by a cellular market. And we'll look at metropolitan, which should include Mexico City. And with that, you're able to see the allocations that each of the carriers have, AT&T, Telcel, and so on. Continuing on to another country, we're going to go to Canada next. The Spectrum Grid allows you to see information on the start and stop frequencies, the band classifications. So here in Canada, rather than breaking it down by county, it's by Tier 4 service areas. That's the smallest geographic area that Canada allocates their spectrum on for all of the mobile carrier licenses to date. Now you can scroll across and see, I'm actually going to take you all the way to the upper mid-band spectrum and show you the 2.5 gigahertz spectrum because you can see the way that Canada has this allocated. You have uplink spectrum, and then you have the TDD spectrum. Canada's spectrum currently conforms to the international standard rather than the standard that the United States has used. And then another example of a regional sort, we're going to go ahead and sort by the Tier 2 service areas, and that essentially will give us counties, provinces. And then by choosing British Columbia, where you see all the Tier 4 service areas that are in British Columbia. The last country we're going to take a look at is Germany. So with Germany, you can see that the band classifications are different than what is typical in North America. Band class 28, band class 20, and the geographic breakdown is by district, by state, and then by district. So we could choose for region to get all of the districts within the Berlin which is one singular district there. And then we also can do sorts that just look at their low band spectrum or just the 700 megahertz spectrum. So just to reiterate, the Spektrum Grid gives you a powerful way to quickly orientate yourself to the way that the spectrum has been allocated on a country-by-country basis and how there may be similarities or differences in those allocations. Thank you very much for watching this video.